Mauricio, it's so great to have you back with HAR. It seems like it's been forever, but it's only been a year. But what a year. And I remember you telling me at the age of 6, your parents moved from Mexico City to Los Angeles, and your name is derived from your Greek and Russian heritage.
Yes, sir.
What I find extremely impressive is that the Wall Street Journal has ranked you the #1 realtor in California and the #3 realtor in the United States by volume, and among the top 10 for 7 straight years in a row. You've personally been involved in over $4 billion in transactions.
Is that all, Bob?
Selling more homes than anyone in the country, over $20 million. So thanks for being here, pal.
Bob, it's always a pleasure to be here for you. You're one of the best in the industry, one of the kindest, and you certainly run the best MLS in the country. So I look forward always to receiving your texts, your calls, and I'm always there for you, my man.
Thank you, thank you. You know, looking back of all the impressive properties you've listed and sold, what would be your most favorite, do you think?
Wow, Bob, that's a tough question just because there's been so many and so many exciting stories. I mean, as you know, it's been documented, that I've, listed and sold, the house where Michael Jackson died and Elvis Presley. And, there's just so many amazing stories. And, real estate's not only about the actual property and what it looks like, but also about the story behind it, right?
Sure.
But I would say that probably sold, it still has to be the Playboy Mansion. I mean, that's still, probably one of the most iconic homes in the world. And it's just absolutely extraordinary and beautiful. And I've enjoyed that one. But, currently I have a couple of extraordinary listings that I just love. One of them is on Orem, 10490 Orem. And the architecture is extraordinary and the views are amazing. And it's just, one of these most beautiful architectural homes I've ever had the chance of selling. And secondly, I currently have the privilege of selling the sanctuary at Loon Point. And this is without question the prettiest listing and the prettiest piece of land I've ever seen, mine or anybody else's. It's 22 acres. It's a half a mile on the coastline on the Pacific Ocean, landscaped to absolute perfection. I've got videos on it. If anybody wants to look at it, please go for it. It's also one of the best videos I've ever produced. The sanctuary at Loon Point, on the market for $160 million. And it's currently the most expensive property in California. But I can tell you, I could have listed it a lot higher. And it's actually a deal at $160 million, which is weird, but to say, but it's the truth.
The Playboy Mansion, as I recall, was $100 million, and I thought, boy, that's way up there. But now 160, you're in the stratosphere. Well, you created the agency about 10 years ago, and I think you said the reason was to redefine the business of real estate. How have you seen it change since you started the agency?
Well, the real estate has changed dramatically across the board. You have a lot of, first of all, a lot of like the technology and prop tech, businesses have entered the market and created a whole bunch of new type of businesses, from the iBuyer, to trying to improve finance and faster technologies and on banking and mortgages and all of that stuff. We took the approach, as from the agency's perspective of redefining real estate twofold, really. And we have good technology and we have a great CRM, but we have all of that stuff that works and operates properly. But I think that the two most important points that we did to redefine real estate is in its marketing and in the culture. And between those two things, we've defined the brand, right? And, from a marketing perspective, I can tell you that, everybody has come up to us and told us that they've copied our marketing. Robert Refkin from Compass told me that backstage one time, and he says, I copy all your marketing. And I said, well, at least you have, the balls to say that, and I appreciate that. But it's been a real pleasure, and it's difficult to maintain innovation in marketing. But we strive every single day. We take risks, we take chances, and we're in the middle of revamping our entire marketing suite for 2022. Which we're very excited about. We're going to be unveiling it at our agency forum, which is taking place at the end of this month, which we'll have 1,000 people at, and some great education, some great parties. And then we'll take it, from there. and then obviously the culture. The agency is a family. I mean, and I think that I don't know of any other companies that can really say that they're a true family as a brand in real estate. And we're fully transparent. We're fully collaborative. We handle our issues and problems internally with complete openness, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. People just love hanging out with each other. The amount of referral business that's going back and forth is absolutely extraordinary. And I think those are the two defining moments for the agency, Bob.
Well, it's no doubt that you're a really cool guy and you're a celebrity in the industry, and you're married to a celebrity. Kyle Richards, star of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. How do y'all interact? How does that work with both of you being a celebrity in your own rights?
Well, thank you, Bob. It's easy. I mean, it's been part of our life. I mean, we've been on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills now for 10 or 11 years, I think now. And we actually celebrated my daughter's bat mitzvah this last weekend. And we were very lucky to have one of the best home videos of anybody in the world, right? I mean, we have home videos of Portia since she was 1 year old with professional cameraman, and it's just been beautiful to watch. And we had an amazing montage at the bat mitzvah that was all created by that. But yeah, we've got more television shows coming, Bob. I can't tell you, it's confidential. If we were having this interview in about 3 weeks, I probably could tell you. But we do have some more reality shows coming, and we're very excited about them. And my wife is, as you know, I'm super proud of her. She's going to be on Halloween, which premieres in about 10 days here, with Jamie Lee Curtis. She was on the original Halloween in 1977 and never got killed. She managed to survive, and she's coming back. And then she's going to be on a Christmas movie that she's the lead role and the star. And that'll be on Peacock. So we've got a bunch of stuff happening here in the next 30 days.
I remember last time you were in town, we went to dinner at a nice restaurant, and I was in the restaurant at the bar about a week later. And the bartender is a young lady who I know, and she said, "I'm really upset with you, Mr. Hale." And I said, "Why?" She said, "You had Mauricio in here for dinner and you didn't introduce me." And I said, "Sorry." She said, "Do you know who he is?" I said, "Yeah, he's one of the top people in real estate." She said, "No, he's married to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kyle Richards. I would have done anything to meet him." So I'm in trouble.
Well, I'll come back down to Houston pretty soon, and I'll come and visit. You know, as you know, we're really concentrating on a fast expansion through
Right.
primarily franchising right now. And so I really do look forward to finding the right group of people in Houston and opening up a franchise and being down there a bunch. As you know, I love Houston, I love Texas, and I can't wait to get my little butt down there for you guys and go see that lady again at that beautiful Mexican restaurant and say hello.
What's the number one rule you have at the agency?
Well, we've got 10 rules, but our rule number one is no assholes.
Yes,
and,
I remember.
it defines
right.
it defines the idea of the culture. Being a family, and look, clearly, in any family you have sibling rivalings and sibling fights, and this, it's just part of having a family, and that does happen at the agency. But at the end of the day, if you're an asshole, you're out.
you had an amazing list of clients: Hugh Hefner, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Prince, Lady Gaga, Kim Kardashian, Sofia Vergara, Madonna, and on and on and on. What's it like to work with those types of personalities?
Oh, it's fun, Bob. It's they're still, you have to remember and realize that they're still regular people. They're still buying probably the most sentimental possession of their life, not necessarily the biggest possession of their life, but that is where they are intending to raise a family, enjoy, have privacy, so you get to capture these people and meet them in a completely different setting, right? We're not adversaries. I'm actually there to service them and to help them, and to help improve their lifestyle or make their lifestyle the dream that they're trying to create, and find that property for them as fast as possible, as quick as possible. They're definitely demanding. They all have business managers. From the perspective of the actual transaction, it's demanding. They've got a lot of people. Everybody needs to, they rely on all of their team and their people to make sure that they're properly protected. So you're dealing with attorneys and business managers and accountants and all kinds of people that you need to reply to. And that definitely gets a little bit more dicey and more intense. But at the end of the day, we have to deliver extraordinary service, and that's it.
You know, in Houston, our agents do thousands of in-person and virtual open houses every year. And I mean, that's a way of life. But you do open houses a little bit different. And I'm going to show a little video clip of one of the ways you recently did an open house.
It's the unveiling of the Lamborghini Huracan. And if anyone wants to drive it home, it'll set them back $250,000. But the super broker throwing this bash has his eye on a much bigger prize, finding a buyer for this $29 million bachelor pad.
We like to throw parties at a party house because it allows the client to start seeing how that house actually lives.
Mauricio Umansky is a bit of a celebrity himself. He and his wife, Kyle Richards, have been mainstays on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And as one of LA's top brokers, Mauricio knows a hot property when he sees it.
And then, by the way, what became of that Lamborghini during the open house?
Are you referring to the one that I ended up purchasing and keeping in my house?
That's
Is that Yeah, that one came home with me. I enjoyed it for quite some time, and I actually sold it now, and I don't have that one anymore. But we definitely still have some toys in the garage.
It was gorgeous. It was totally gorgeous. So what 3 tips would you recommend to help your clients' offer stand out from the other offers that they may be getting on a property?
Well, you know, right now, as you know, real estate is just absolutely incredibly on fire. And as a buyer, you really do need to stand out. Similar to the way I sell, I recommend buyers, you know, to put the effort into the way they buy. And what I'm referring to is to have an emotional attachment with the seller. And a cover letter or a nice letter that is directly from the buyer, not written by the real estate agent, but, you know, written from the buyer to the seller, introducing themselves, telling about themselves, and, you know, creating an emotional attachment between them and the seller is a really good way to get picked, particularly if all things are equal, you know, similar price, you know, plus or minus, you know, $25. It's nice to do that. Secondly, have all of your finances in order. I mean, deliver the property, you know, the offer, which is with as much information as you can. If you're getting a loan, your loan approval, your proof of funds, just everything, just deliver it with, you know, absolutely everything. And thirdly, you know, pick a great real estate agent. You know, real estate agents have reputations to either be deal makers or deal breakers. Pick somebody that other agents, you know, you're going to be collaborating with with colleagues, with other real estate agents, and you want to make sure you're picking somebody that other agents want to work with, you know, that particular agent, and they have a good reputation. You know, you don't want to pick the real estate agent that we say, well, we're not picking that guy. You know, that guy is way too intense. He kills deals. But like that, you want to pick somebody that is a deal maker and has a good reputation.
Good advice. What 3 technologies do you think will continue to shape the luxury real estate market the rest of this year and in the future?
Well, that's a big innovation question, Bob, and we've been dealing with that and having that conversation internally for the last 6 months in terms of really trying to understand, you know, what that looks like. But I think lead generation and prospect planning is a critical thing for real estate agents, right? So if you're able to actually have a great technology to manage your prospects and to create lead generation, that's when you're really starting to bring dollars, you know, into your hands. I think the CRM is important because that is the brains behind all of these technologies that we're all talking about. But the CRM is just, you know, it's a contact management system, right? Which has to be great, but it's not the way of the 2022. It's not the future, right? That just becomes your core and your brains in order to power the rest of the new technologies, right? You know, data sciences are extremely important piece of moving forward for 22, and gathering data to me is probably one of the most important pieces. If we can use the data to really truly understand where the behavior of buyers and sellers, you're going to really be able to improve, use technology to actually help you in the bottom line, particularly in the real estate brokerage world. When we go into like the iBuyer and all, that's a different segment of technologies. I'm not going to get into that. I'm talking about the brokerage, for brokers, for agents. What is the best tool that we can have in order to continue to make money?
I remember you telling me about your iPhone, that you used it to sell a very expensive property in Napa Valley to a buyer who never set foot in it. You walked through the house with your iPhone on FaceTime and the deal was done. So that's a great technology that should be probably used more. I mean, you're the perfect example. It doesn't have to be complicated technology, but it's great technology.
FaceTime, iPhone videos, that's all about marketing. I think social media marketing, digital marketing is the way of the future. How do you stand out during social media marketing? That's kind of an important thing, in order to stand out, right? How do you stand out in the newspaper? The newspapers are gone, but now the big question is, how do you stand out on social media? How do you stand out on Facebook? How do you stand out on all of those things? And being creative about that is really the way to do it. And, quite honestly, it also takes some money. So it takes a little bit of both. So if you can have a brokerage that can actually handle that for you and be creative for you, then you're going to be in great shape. Yeah,
I remember a while back, Brad Inman calling me one Saturday afternoon and say, I just met the coolest guy today. His name is Mauricio Umansky. I rode my bike over to his office and met him, and we, he's incredible. And out of that, he introduced me to you, and here we are today. So it's interesting how things work out for the best.
Brad's a great guy. I hope to see you. And are you going to be in Vegas this year?
We're looking at it. We're not sure I know you're going to be. I'm either going to be watching you on the computer or in person, one way or the other.
Well, if you're there, I'll invite you to our grand opening of our Vegas agency. We're announcing it next week, and we're opening up the agency in Vegas. We're going to be throwing a big, huge party. So we'd love to have you, Bob.
And then I remember last time we were together here, you flew from Houston to Washington, D.C. You were having lunch at the White House the following day, but you had forgotten your dress shoes and your socks. All you had on were a nice pair of sneakers. And but you looked your best. I remember lounging in the red room of the White House, wearing your sneakers and new socks you bought at the airport. And only you, Mauricio, could have pulled that off. Do you have any last words to share with our agents, that something that could help them be more productive as you have been in your career?
Guys, I think that inventory is low. It's difficult to stand out right now. Be creative. Have a ton of knowledge, when you go out there. And I cannot stress that enough. I know it's just the basics, but I can't tell you how many. I don't like to call people rookies. I like to call you guys rising stars. And how to be the next $1 million agent. But I can't tell you how many rising stars I talk to, and I talk to them about knowledge, and somehow or another, they just don't understand what that means. And be knowledgeable about everything: your contract, your market stats, your competitors, your competitive assets, your house that you're selling, and learn how to create an emotional attachment between you and your client. Stick to the basics, create lead generation, and go knock them dead, guys.
You must be one of the busiest people in real estate. You've got offices all the way from Vancouver to Boston, throughout the United States, in Canada and Mexico, the Caribbean, and you're continue to expand. So we're not going to keep you much longer, because I know you've got a million things to do. But I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being with us and sharing your views, and the members love to hear from you.
Bob, thank you so much for your time. You're an inspiration. You do great for all of your agents in Houston, and for the the National Association of Realtors. So thank you for everything you do, my friend.
Adios, man. Bye-bye.
Adios.